It says I'm live. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Kaye, the late bloomer, and I am traveling in Illinois today. There was a streaming issue. So I'm going to just make an adjustment here real quick, and then I'm going to introduce you to my friend. Okay. Let's see. This goes away and this comes down. Now it's black. I need to stretch it down. There we go. There we go. Now you can't see you. Wait, hold on. I move it over. Now you can see you. Okay, so we're off center. So let's get squared away here. Okay, I'm going to move it back, and then I'm going to go this way. And you're going to come this way. There we go. Great. Hey, Sherry. Yeah. Would you close those panels behind him? Yeah. That'd be awesome. What it does, Mark, is it puts a little glare. They'll just be able to see you better if she closes the panels, I think. Did you smile yet? I know it's a little stressful there. He's like running around trying to get the Wi-Fi, turning it on, turning it off. Thank you, Catherine. That did not go unnoticed. But I was panicking there for a minute. I was trying to get on my hotspot, but it looks like his Wi-Fi is working okay. Is the middle one? Can you do the middle one? Nope. It's okay. Don't worry. It's fine. No worries. There we go. Okay. Okay, every time we move, the light shifts, but it's just the way it goes. I need to get more this way. There we go. You come this way. There we go. Now we're centered. Okay, hi, everybody. This is my friend, Mark Valeroy. Hello. And I am in southwestern Illinois. I left my house about 7:20 this morning and drove straight here, and I've been here for about almost an hour, right? Almost an hour, yeah. So we've been going over, we've got some ideas about what to talk about, but I just wanted to start with how Mark found my channel and all of that. So I'm going to turn it over to Mark.
Okay. Well, hi. As you said, I'm Mark Valeroy. I'm an avid gardener for about 20 years. So how I found Kaye is I've been reading publications.
Okay, just look right up here, Mark. Okay. I know you're nervous. Yeah, Mark's a little nervous.
Horticulture magazine for a while, and I was reaching out on YouTube, and I came across Kaye. She had a small garden in California, and what I really liked about her channel is small space gardening organically. She could fit a lot of goodness, organic vegetables in a small space, and I really liked the idea of that. And it's just that's how I came across her, and I've been an avid fan for going on 12 years. So,
yeah, so you said that you found my channel after about the third episode.
About the third episode.
And he went back, and of course he saw the first two. But back then, as you probably, I know you know this, other people probably don't know, when I did start my channel, by the way, welcome to anyone who is new to my channel. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to hit the like button. We've got 43 people that have joined us so far. You're going to learn a lot today, and I know you're going to enjoy this interview.
Hopefully. I was fine until she went live.
But in the beginning, I only did 2 a month, and they were only 5 minutes long. And so there were these perfect little gems, and you know.
I looked forward to everyone. It was like.
But now it's like I don't know. They're longer. There are many of them, and all of that. So you started watching.
Yeah, I started watching, and from there, I just my gardening's growing, and I added a new addition to my garden every year, and I always look forward to a new episode.
Have you been here in this location the whole time?
So I've been here at this location for 17 years now. I've been growing locally in town gardening, so it can be done in town if you have the space. Even if you don't have the space, like I said at the beginning, with Kaye's small garden in California, she had a lot in a small space. You can do a lot.
But you got chickens.
Space. I got chickens. I try to be all organic. They're great composters. So yeah,
aren't they gorgeous?
She gets to take some of those home with her today.
I am going to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so when we have talked, Mark and I have been in touch for a long time. Last year he sent me his painted Wapsi corn, which is, you want to talk about that for just a minute? And let's hold it still so they can actually see it. There we go. It's a deep red, beautiful flower corn.
Yeah, it's a true flower corn. It's so the inside has a real starchy, floury, fluffy base, and it's great when it's ground up for baking goods, corn cakes, cornbread, high protein. I think 19% is when it tested out.
So you mean you can test that?
I never had mine tested, but so how this came about is maybe 12 years ago, I came across a painted mountain corn Dave Christensen from Montana created. It was a short variety of flower corn.
Excuse me one second. Daryl said it's bad sound. Repeating echoes. I don't know what that means. Is anyone else having problems with the sound? It's very blurry too. And that may be just the streaming. Let me see if I can.
Looks great on your end.
I know it looks good here, but that doesn't mean. Do you see hotspot? I wonder why my hotspot is not up there. I was thinking I might, hold on a second. I got to get it closer so I can see. That's so funny. I mean, it's not funny, but if I turn the Wi-Fi off, it will just, it'll go bye-bye. I don't know why I can't go on my personal hotspot, though. I always can. Did it at home.
Sound is okay here. It fills with gold, so it sounds good.
It is good enough to continue. It's funny. Wow. I don't know.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I'm so sorry, but
shoot.
They've got TVs and phones and everything going, so I don't understand why this isn't working that well. Lonnie says the audio is good enough.
Great.
In North Carolina. Candace said it's good enough to continue. A little bit blurry, so we won't jerk too much. Just bad picture. I'm so sorry. Greetings to Chattanooga. Okay, we're going to get back to the story.
Okay.
Let me know if you can't. Don't move around too much. So let me know if you can't hear that well again. Well, I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. It is what it is. I don't have the option of going on my personal hotspot. Let me just see. You continue.
Okay, I'll continue. So hopefully
Where were we?
I come through.
Yeah, you're talking about your corn.
So how this came about is about 12 years ago. I was looking for a nice heirloom, open pollinated corn that I could work with and create my own local corn that's grown and every year that come as a shop. It's more adaptable to your climate and microclimate or even your Zone 6, Southern Illinois. So luckily, Dave Christensen, like I said, 30, 40 years ago, maybe 40 years ago now, he created this corn called Painted Mountain. It's who did? Dave Christensen, I believe, from Montana area. Okay. Great for extreme drought, early cold climate germination. But the only thing I found with it is the problem is only a 4-foot corn. It always had real nice long ears, perfect, nice harvest. But being that short, the ear set was only maybe 2.5 foot off the ground. And I was like, man, there's got to be something I can do. So I started looking into maybe creating a corn, and I looked into the research and how you could detassel and all this. And I found a compatible corn in another. So how he created this was, I think, 30 varieties of Native American corn, a flour corn. And like I said, it's a great corn, but the problem was I was having skunks come up, being 2.5 foot off the ground. They'd come up and just pull the plant over and just destroy it.
I noticed you don't have any protection on your.
No. Well, that's what's nice about having a dog or a cat outside.
Oh,
That's
dog.
Great. Yeah. So I was like, there's got to be something I can do. So I found a paint. It's called Wapsie Valley. And that's a 9-foot corn. I think it had an 80-day harvest time. So that's really quick for a 9-foot corn. And the ear set was maybe 5 foot in the air. So a couple seasons of cross-pollinating those two corns together, I got it up to 5 foot, but the ear set is much higher now, maybe 3.5, 4 foot high.
Off the ground. Nice.
So that's the advantages of, creating two open pollinated corns together. And I mean, really everything is a hybrid, like there's GMO corn. I think Daryl's mentioned it before. And then there's people hear hybrid and they think that's something bad, but that's something good, especially if it's two open pollinated corns. You can, what people confuse a lot of time is GMO and hybrid corn, but all open pollinated corns were eventually a hybrid of some type of I think maize corn goes back 10,000 years. So, I mean, those are all hybrids.
Yeah.
And they're all created in microclimates in different parts of the world, and they're adapted to your area.
Right.
So eventually, so what I did is I like this red burgundy color. I think that's a really cool. And
it's beautiful.
So when you crack that open, it's a white, fluffy interior, a heavy starch. It has a real great, like old-fashioned corn flavor. And then it's just something I've been working on. And then I just really enjoy doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that over here. And I think we need to go back and just kind of tell them how you got so interested in gardening.
Okay. Well, about 20 years ago, I was renting a house in a town north of here, just a little bit.
Well, start with the 4x4.
Oh, okay, we can do that. Yeah. So
he already told me this story.
Yeah, I've always been interested in just the smell of the earth. Ever since I was a kid, being outside, the grass, the garden, it's just wonderful feeling. Stress reliever. As long as I can remember. And so growing up in Southeast Texas, my grandfather lived next door to me. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, he passed away. And he always had a large garden, just a huge garden. And as a kid, about 7 or 8 years old, I remember going over there and just watching him till the garden and just smelling that earthy smell and just being amazed by, like, wow, watching what he plants emerge from the ground is just something awesome. And so I remember one day I told my mom, I was like, you know what? I want to have a garden. I was like, this is cool. So I was snooping in the cabinet and I found a bag, I think they were navy beans. I was like, Mom, can I have a garden like Grandpa? And she's like, sure, I don't see it, So she let me have a little patch in her backyard. I tore up the ground, a little maybe 4 foot by 4 foot area. And you know what? I had a harvest. I
can't believe they sprouted.
They sprouted. And
beans that you got in the cabinet to eat. That's crazy.
And I don't remember. I know I had a harvest. I don't remember what we did with the beans, but it was just fun as a kid just to watch it, take care of it, to weed it every day after school and watch it bloom and get something that you planted.
And you were 8 or
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
And how did your grandfather?
So we'd have him over for dinner, and I was like, I can't wait to show Grandpa. I can't wait to show him because he loved the garden. He's like, boy, I'll tell you what. He called me boy, but in a loving. That was his thing.
Boy,
hey boy, that's great. One day you're going to be a great gardener. When you get older, you can help me in the garden. That's what happened. Eventually, we moved next door. He had a lot of ground. We had livestock, and luckily we had goats and rabbits and chickens. So I got to grow up with all that. And a huge garden.
Rabbits too.
If anybody watches Danny and Wanda, Deep Home South, or I think Deep South at Pecan Grove now. I think a lot of his gardening is going to Pecan Grove. But how they have that old timer, the big wide spacing, the long rows, the tractor, tractor and the tiller, which the tiller, he was on the tractor. I got the tiller, all the hard work. But,
yeah, of course.
But after school, I mean, he was always there for you, but you earned your keep, what you worked for, you earned. And, at the time, sometimes I didn't like it too much, at the time I was like weeding, but I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. All the memories and all the education, it's sad when the older generation, the great generation, he was 94 years old when he passed away. That's knowledge that, unfortunately, a lot of kids don't have.
Now, was he born in Italy?
No, he wasn't. He was born in a little town
Over here.
in Illinois, Southern Illinois, in Grand Tower, Illinois. He ended up in Texas after the war. At the end of the World War II, he moved back to Illinois and got a job with the railroad. And he transferred all over America, Shreveport, Louisiana, somewhere in Arkansas.
He let you ride the trains.
Later trains in Houston, Texas. He ended up in Houston, Texas, and he ended his career there and retired out of Houston. But yeah, that was always neat. Grandpa Choo Choo, I call him Grandpa Choo Choo.
Was there anything about his gardening that was like Italian?
Not too much.
Italian-esque?
Well, the Italian was my grandma. So my grandfather is French and native Cherokee. My great grandmother, Cherokee Indian, Native American. So that my grandma, the Italian, comes in. My grandpa would grow the garden, and my grandma would cook all this great Italian food. Spaghetti night was my favorite night. Walking in, a great memory is just so reminiscent. The smell of garlic, sautéing in olive oil, the tomatoes out of the garden that she would can.
So this year he gave me his recipe for tomato sauce, which I made and canned a big pot. So I think I had a case of pints.
Oh, wow.
What is that, 12 or 16?
Yeah.
So I've already eaten 3 of them, and I'm going, Kaye, you're supposed to save them.
It's great,
but it's winter, and it's.
I hopefully you get.
It's comfort food.
Yeah, it is.
It was so delicious.
That's what I love. The smell is so comforting. Just the smell alone.
Yeah.
The fresh goodness.
Well, I think what I did though, which is still good, but I think I had much more tomato than the proportions of the spices and the garlic and all that.
You could have.
You know what I mean?
It looked great from what I saw.
Yeah, because I didn't really exactly measure the tomatoes. You know what I mean?
You can always tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just something I remember to this day.
But your grandmother didn't do any of the growing.
No, she was more of an arborist. She loved trees. She just loved trees, and that's another fond memory. I love trees as well. As you can see in my yard, I planted all these trees except for maybe a few.
And you built your house.
I built the house. I had two role models growing up. My grandfather, half of my life, was a huge inspiration to me, a great role model. And the second half of my life, my father. They were both great carpenters, and I learned carpentry from both of them. More of the gardening aspect from my grandfather, and my dad's a great carpenter. He helped me build this house. He taught me wiring, taught me plumbing. It's fortunate to have great men role models in your life that you can learn a trade from, that you can always pass on to your son or pass on to other generations. It's just I lucked out with that. So I can't take credit for that, all of it, but. So my grandpa, I tell you, we do differ in gardening.
Picture. Where's the picture?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That's
Grandpa.
That's Edward Durosset, Edward Lee Durosset.
He looks like a friendly guy.
Super friendly. He would do
anything. He wore the suspenders, right?
He loved the suspenders.
And you have another picture.
I do.
Of you with your
sure.
Both grandparents.
I do.
My
grandpa was a big man, almost about 6 foot, and my little.
Let me hold it a second, maybe.
My 5'2" Italian grandmother, Lita. Her maiden name is Laurenti, Lita Maria Laurenti.
There we go. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I miss both of them. They're just wonderful people.
That's awesome.
He built his home. But back to my grandpa, we do differ in our gardening styles. Like I said, if anything to compare his garden style, it'd be Danny and Wanda's type of growing. Although here recently, I noticed he's growing more organic with trying to get more of the rabbit fertilizer incorporated in his race. So that's great. I'm all about that. I'm strictly 100% organic.
Do you have rabbits here?
I do.
Okay.
So I have a compost. I always have one cooking and one next to it, finished compost.
Do you do the temperature?
No, you can tell.
Done that.
So the more you turn your compost, the more air that gets to your compost, the more moisture and air combined, the ratio is how it cooks. And the faster, the more air, the more you turn it, the more air, the more oxygen those microbes and those living organisms can create. And they just cooks it and eats that down.
So I'm going to have to turn my compost too?
Black gold. So that's the great thing with the chickens. So the chickens, You can't use that. It needs.
We have Simplify Gardening on. I just wanted to point that out. You know Tony from
I do.
Wales?
I've seen it. Yeah, that's great.
Tony has a lot of compost instructional videos also. So if you guys, especially leaf mold, have you ever tried
leaf mold's great.
He's got a
I wouldn't garden without it. So I disperse it twice a year.
I don't know what leaf mold is. I need to watch Tony's video.
Break the leaves when they break down. You can do it in maybe a 5-gallon or one of them big, not 50-gallon containers.
Yeah.
With the lid on it.
With no holes in the bottom?
I'm not for sure. Well, maybe a couple for the moisture. I'm not really for sure.
Okay. I'll ask Tony.
Yeah, I disperse that twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring. And whenever we have more time, I could show you. I have one cooking and one finished next to it. And it's great to put the finish under the tomatoes. I always put a big shovel full under each tomato plant every year. And it's just, I wouldn't go without it. I wouldn't garden without it. That's how we differ. So back to that story. So at the end of World War II, they had all this surplus of, phosphorus, sulfates.
By the way, your grandfather was a decorated pilot, right?
No, that was my great-great-grandfather.
I'm sorry,
great uncle from Italy.
Right,
he was
an
ace fighter pilot in Italy.
In Italy.
He actually flown biplanes in World War I, and he flown in World War II.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and he was knighted.
And then he flew with American pilots.
He did. So when Italy became allies with America towards the end of the war, and drove out Mussolini, and hung him up by a telephone pole. Well deserved.
Is that what they did?
Well, he hung up many people. No, I think actually the real story is they put him against a wall, and the people they gunned him down.
Okay.
Yeah, he was allies with Hitler. He was fascist. But anyway, we don't need to get.
Yeah, no.
So that's how it
Too big of a story. Too deep of a hole.
Yeah. So my grandfather met my grandmother in Italy and came over at the end of the war with my uncle Gary. He was born in Italy on a Navy ship and.
Born on the ship?
No, born in Italy in Trieste. I think it was rough seas coming back. That's the thing. Unfortunately, my grandma never got to go back to her homeland.
Oh.
She would refuse to fly. And, so
I can relate.
Yeah, she just didn't want to get on. Mr. T. But
let's see. Anna says hot compost, you need to turn it. Cold compost, not. It just takes longer.
Sure.
Mine's cold then, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the chickens, they make great compost, but it needs at least 6 months to a year to break down.
How many chickens do you have?
Oh, shoot. I have some Dutch bantams. I have, I think, 7 Dutch bantams. They're separate in the hoop coop. And then I built that. And then in the chicken house over here, which has another story, but I think, how many chickens do we have out there? 12. So maybe 18 chickens total.
Okay.
So I like to keep them separate, and one rooster, ornery rooster.
So these are fertile eggs.
Well, they may be now. They're just starting to lay again, but the more daylight we're receiving is getting up on spring.
Do you have a rooster that's the right size for a bantam hen?
Well, the Dutch bantam I'm keeping actually with the big chickens because he's just an ornery rooster. You can't turn your back. I used to have a rooster. I think it was a golden comet breed. And actually that came from one of my grandpa's chickens in Texas. I brought back a dozen eggs, and this was maybe 16 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna try. I put him in an incubator, and
oh my God,
he was super. He would follow you around the yard like a dog.
Can you do that after you travel across the country? You can still incubate them? As
long as you don't shake him up too bad. Keep him. You don't want to turn the embryo.
I thought you had to go from the nest into the.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The main thing that's detrimental to eggs is a cold temperature. So
yeah, you
want to keep them at room temperature on the counter. Or, anything below 50 degrees is pretty detrimental too.
Mm-hmm.
But
and so you hatched your own chicken from a Texas chicken.
I did. Yeah, and I had him for I think he lived to be maybe 10, 11 years old. A huge red rooster. We called him Red. And you could pick him up. You could play with this. He was just awesome. And so I was like, you know what? I had one rooster. He was nice. Let's try another one. Well, I got this Dutch bantam, and he's just, you can't even turn your back on him. He thinks he's Superman and wants to.
And do what? What does he do?
Well, he's protective of those hens.
So is he going to attack you?
He could.
Yeah.
So I watch him. You just got to watch him.
Heck him.
Yeah. That's why I keep him away.
Now you've got kids.
I do.
And
they're all grown now.
I have a question here. So you started gardening 20 years ago. I mean, you started gardening here 20 years ago. You were gardening when you grew up.
I did with my grandfather.
And then here you decided, like 20 years ago, you decided you're going to start growing your own food. Is that what happened?
That's the whole point of this whole thing. You need to be, it's not, you never know with the world. So, and it's always great to be self-reliant. And you need to know how to take care of yourself.
Well, you were in the military for a while, so you were off. And
when I was 25, I enlisted in the Army National Guard, and later.
Were you deployed?
Our unit was up for deployment several times. Our sister unit out of Kittrell, Illinois, was actually deployed overseas and had some casualties. We would train with them, and our unit came up for deployment several times, and we were never deployment ready. So I never did get to oversee, but I did serve stateside, and we had lots of missions supporting ongoing troops overseas. I was in a transportation unit, and so we would haul supplies, ammunition to other. So
you weren't able to start a garden or anything until you got out, right? And
well, that's the nice about being National Guard. It's
right.
And when you're not training, you're at home. And so I always had a garden. About 25, 26, I started a garden.
Oh, awesome.
As soon as I got out of the military.
Oh, and so great.
Well, back from training. So I was in for 6 years before my time was up. But,
and so here you have rabbits, chickens. You're doing the compost, and you've got a few raised beds, right?
I do. Is
there something I'm forgetting?
I have the asparagus bed.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I haven't. I gave you the tour yet.
Yeah. I'm sorry I can't take you around for a tour, but
next time.
Yeah, I'm going to come back in the spring, maybe. Doug called me and he said, "Kaye, you've got to come to our conference in May." On the 17th and 18th, Doug and Stacy are having another conference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's not too far from me.
This is a new one.
Yeah.
It's not?
St. Louis is about 45 minutes from here. So I don't think they live too far out of St. Louis.
Well, they live, it's near Hannibal.
That's north, I believe, north of St. Louis. Yeah. A couple hours.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, well, we'll see. I mean, that's when everything is happening.
I'm an hour away from it. I'm in a rural area, Southern Illinois, off of the scenic Route 3, the Great River Road. Everywhere you want to go is an hour.
Yeah. So an hour I talked to him. I'm going by these vast agricultural fields. You look that way as far as the eye can see, completely flat. And it just goes on and goes on and goes on flat. And then he said, "Oh, you're coming up by the river." And I'm going, "No, I don't see a river."
Yeah, unfortunately,
but if you keep going, then it gets very close to the river, and then the road gets like this. And this woman was on
bluffs.
This woman was on my tail, and the road is not
very even.
It's not at all even. And I'm going, I feel like slowing down. I just feel like going a little slower.
Those coal trucks loaded onto the barges on the river. They tear up the road.
Yeah. And so I'm going, I guess she must be a local, because she just passed me. I said, okay, go ahead. She was just go right ahead. I don't feel like going, because I don't know the road or anything.
Right.
So anyway, let's see.
That's one thing about all this, the fields, but they're all GMO.
Thank you, Anna.
They're all GMO, all these fields, the soybeans, the corn.
There's actually a little bit of a dispute going on the chat about GMO. Genetically modified organism is different from hybrids.
Somebody's wanting to see the coops.
No. No, I don't think that's possible. Because, the signal's not great right here by the modem, and
we'll have to do a video tour sometime.
Yeah, why don't you run out there and take a picture?
Take a picture?
Do you have a picture on your phone?
Maybe when I was building it, and I can't take full credit for that.
You've got a hoop, or you got a what?
It's a hoop coop, and that's something I picked up off Living Traditions.
Oh yeah, you were going to
YouTube channel, and so I did. Maybe change some things. I thought maybe a little improvement to it. What I thought anyway. I mean, nothing was wrong with it. It's just a great idea. Just a wonderful. I'll tell you, besides magazines, which is a great publication when I started, Horticulture Magazine, reading. A lot of people look to YouTube, but don't forget reading.
We've all stopped reading.
I have tons of these that go back, 12, 13, Horticulture Magazine. It's just a great publication. So I went from the magazines to Kaye's channel. It's almost, you didn't call it the square foot gardening.
No,
but it was like a square foot garden. You had everything. That's what I like that. It can be done. A lot of nutrition, organic nutrition in a small area. You can grow a surplus of food. I do it every year.
Well, I was lucky because I could do year round.
You had the perfect climate.
And then all these people would write and go, "Oh, I can't wait till spring. Like Daryl's always going, oh, it's only 45 days till spring, whatever. But over there, it was all what you could always grow something.
Yeah.
You know, never freezes. And so
you would think you would need AAC too, but evidently the part of California, you didn't really have AC too much, just a perfect climate.
You mean air conditioning?
Air conditioning.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, that's so hot and humid here.
Air conditioning was opening the window.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, I closed the windows. I don't know if I ever closed the windows entirely, but anyway, I guess in the winter I did.
So yeah, Kevin and Sarah at Living Traditions. There's just an awesome channel.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a few channels I watch beside yours. Yours is the original. I do watch a little YouTube. It's just
I've been on so long.
Knowledge is power, and you have a wealth of it. You watch the right garden channels on YouTube. It's just amazing what you can learn.
Oh, I know. There's not enough time in the day.
Danny and Wanda,
We
Deep
just keep
South,
learning.
and I like to mention him. And then David the Good. Southern Alabama, northern Florida area.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think we're the same age. And
well, one channel I was just telling him because you were saying one of your brothers is getting into it.
my younger brother, Tony.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I'm the oldest.
Did you inspire him, you think?
I hope so. Maybe. But I tell you, he's a fast learner, and he's set in his own ways now. And just his backyard reminds me of your garden in California. He lives in town in Redbud. It's in the city. Well, not a city, it's a town.
Redbud's right over here.
No, it's north of here, maybe 15 minutes off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's close.
And his whole backyard is nothing but garden, all organic. I rubbed off on him, so that's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I was just telling him I hadn't checked in a while because one of the channels that I always watched when I first started was 1 Yard Revolution, which is OYR. And I just looked at his channel is still on. He's got 274,000 subscribers, but I think that people subscribe and they don't unsubscribe. I don't know how many views he's getting videos now, but he hasn't posted anything in 4 years. So I don't know what his status is, but we used to be in contact. He is his videos are still there. If you're starting a backyard garden, he's a great person, especially if you're in zone 6. He's got a backyard garden that was just fantastic.
Hopefully he keeps putting out information.
I don't know. I mean, last upload was 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
He was getting into music, and I don't know.
That's something about YouTube.
People, their lives change. What am I still doing?
That's what's scary.
Still here 12 years.
Like old Alabama gardener. I used to watch him.
I know.
And I do love growing onions, and I would grow them every year. And I learned something from his channel that I would always grow the bulbs. And onions are pre-annuals, so the second year will go to seed. Well, if you plant these bulbs, from the prior year, sometimes you might luck out and get a larger onion, but usually they make great green onions, and that's about it.
You get a bulb that big, and it gets to be that big.
The best way to grow onions is from seed. This is the yellow Spanish.
He got me started doing the onion seed last year,
and so a lot of people will put 1 or 2 onions in each little starter cup or whatever, and that's not the best way to do onions. Is lay them in maybe an 1/8 inch of soil. I make my own potting soil with perlite and organic soil, but I don't know if you can. There we go.
Yeah, let me hold
That's in here, and this is all you need to do. And those are the Spanish, and these are I try to grow something new every year.
Have you trimmed already?
I've trimmed once.
One time.
I need to trim again, actually, and I need to water these later. But
I have a question for you about this.
Every time you trim these, every time you trim these, you're gonna
hold it up. Whoa! I didn't know you were handing it to me.
Every time you trim these, you're gonna get a new leaf set. And I don't know if you can see, this one has 2 because they've been trimmed once. This plant here will. Yep, see the 2, it has 2 leaf sets. So every time you trim them, you're gonna get a new leaf set, which is a new layer of onion on the bulb.
So in other words, it'll put up one tiny little shoot.
Right.
And it'll start falling over. It's got the seed head, the black seed head will be on the top. It almost feels like the weight of it is pulling it over.
Yeah, they're delicate
and
at first.
They're very delicate. And you trim it off at about like 2 inch, two to
about
3
an
inches,
inch or
right?
so every time.
Yeah. And then it puts out 2. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does
variety, the Italian torpedo. It's a sweet red onion. I can't wait to get that out. But
That one's 2. Yeah.
I've been growing the Spanish onions yellow Spanish for about 6 years. And I tell you, every year doing it this method, back to my story, I will get softball size onions and starting from seed.
Do you still have one?
No, matter of fact,
right?
last week.
You ate your last one?
My last one, so we had to buy it back recently.
Yeah.
But usually I grow enough to make it through. And
let's have this thing. I want to show it.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what time we're doing.
Oh,
it's only 2:30. That's good.
Yeah. That's the best way. Oh, my little son.
So did your daughter make this?
My daughter, Emma, bought that for me a couple of years ago. Yeah, I tell you, they love grandpa when he can.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm a grandpa now. I have 3 little grandkids. So.
It's unreal.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Yeah, time flies. And so hopefully some of this gardening will rub off to my kids like it did to my brother. I have 4 sisters and a brother, which the last couple of years, one of my sisters, Andrea, and my brother, Tony, have been asking questions about gardening. And we should say hi to Andrea. She might be watching. Hey guys. Yeah, hopefully. So hopefully, it's just great. I think it's great that they're doing that.
Mark, do you have any advice for people just starting out? People who are just waking up about the world and going, I need to start a garden.
Well,
how important do you think it is to have a mentor?
It's very important. I mean, some people aren't fortunate enough to, and so you need to read, great publication. Don't forget, not just YouTube, but reading. People forget that there's a lot of knowledge.
Daryl is always telling me to read books.
You have to read. You learn so much. Yeah, but unfortunately I'm not a subscriber to Horticulture any longer. I should be. I get so busy.
Yeah.
But I saved all my magazines. They go back years and years. I have a stack of them.
And
that's what started it.
If you cataloged all those articles in there, archived, the articles, you could probably go back in that whole stack and find almost everything you needed to know about what you're doing right now, right?
I could write a book.
You should.
Yeah, I should. If I had, working all the time, I still have a full-time job and, get some stuff paid off. And
how long have you worked at this job? You drive a truck.
I drive for the Postal Service. I'm a contract driver. I haul mail. I used to haul mail all over the country to Chicago, to Kansas City, but I'm more local now. And I'm home every night, but it's just a busy job. I have to actually go out to work in the morning, 2:00 in the morning. I'll be gone tonight. So, as you get older,
leave at 6 tonight.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'll go to bed about 7 o'clock. You get a few hours sleep,
you're going at 2.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Got it.
But the older we get, the more bills we pay off, and the closer to the less work I'll have to do, and I'll have more time. Maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. Maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll.
Well, I can just tell you that if you start a YouTube channel and you love to garden, well, it takes so much time.
It's hard work. I know. I watch you.
It's hard work, and it's I'll go out like my last video. If this may or may not be interesting or helpful to anybody, but if you're considering doing a channel or thinking about it, so what I'm doing now is I'm covering my life on the homestead, because it's not just about gardening, and it's seasonal gardening. So
you have a beautiful place, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen a better place in Tennessee.
It's beautiful. Nice view.
It's got its drawbacks with all the traffic.
A lot of hard work.
Oh yeah. And I need a.
It's coming along.
I need a papa. I need a papa, a grandpapa.
Yeah.
I need a grandpapa your age.
I'll tell you, I do miss the small gardening aspect,
of
but I love that you're branching out too. That's just amazing. Too.
I'm going to ask
Late
you
bloomer.
about that. I was going to ask you about that. Were you already so familiar with me that you wanted to continue with my channel after everything changed?
Well, that's what I was getting back to. That's what inspired me from your channel was everything in a small location that can be done, even if it's from the potted up. I love the episode where you did your corn. I think you had maybe
I would not call that a success.
20 years. Well, you did have some edible sweet corn.
Yeah,
I thought that was just neat.
Very.
If your soil is rich enough, like I build upon my soil every year, twice a year, no matter what, your soil will be just black gold.
Now let's talk about that. Talk about building up your soil.
Well, the more like with the microbes, from the living compost. the more you add, you can turn that soil and you'll see red wigglers in there. And, just the smell alone, just
So
amazing.
are you saying you build it twice a year
I do.
with compost?
With the compost I make in the fall and the spring, it gets distributed all over. And I save some for the tomatoes. I like to put a shovel full under each tomato plant. I plant them deep. I start them all. Well, here in about a month, I'll be starting my tomatoes and peppers. Inside.
Yeah.
And then I start them under grower lights, and they get adapted a little at a time after they're so high to the outside of my front porch.
Are you 7B here?
6B.
6B.
Zone 6B. Yeah. It's very close to yours. I mean, you're usually a week ahead of me.
I guess that's what I meant.
You're 7.
Yeah.
I've noticed you're usually a week ahead of me on everything you do. Usually, it's not too. Actually, Nashville isn't too far from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just that little span, just from here to Carbondale, which is an hour southeast of here. Usually, it'll be a 10-degree difference just in that short time. We'll get snow, and they won't get snow. But this year it's been so hot and dry, and I think we had a week of extreme cold, and now it's back to spring. And
would you say you have a microclimate because you're close to the river, or did I go away from the river?
Well, no, actually the river, the Great Mississippi.
We're talking about the Great Mississippi.
It's just behind me. Pierre Menard Home, a great place if you can ever check out. Historical, the first capital of Illinois.
It was called what?
The Pierre Menard Home.
Oh.
Okay. I think he's lieutenant colonel in the French military, if I'm remembering that correctly. That was his first home in the first state capital in the late 1700s, which was the time of actually Napoleon was having his wars in Europe. This was inhabited by French, colonists and Native Americans, which they befriended. And actually, the Valeroys, my dad's name, that goes back to the late 1700s in Perryville, Illinois. There was Valeroys that first originated, and they migrated to Illinois. And it's just a lot of history in this area. I'm lucky to be able to live in such I love history, and the ground that this house sits upon. I find old medicine bottles in the ground and old horseshoes 6 foot in the ground. When we dug the foundation, I just think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think everybody should take a tour through Southern Illinois and check it out.
And this is really southwestern. I mean,
southwestern along the Mississippi.
Because I was just coming straight north, and then I went boing. Yeah. Right, straight over.
Straight over up the Great River, the scenic byway route through the Great River Road. It goes from actually the tip, Cairo, Illinois, all the way to past Rockford, all along the river, up to northern Illinois, along the Mississippi, along the bluffs. Just a pretty drive, just beautiful. But,
wow.
Yeah, actually, I'm working on this, not to change the subject, but Rockford, Illinois, I have a tomato. I have 2 varieties of heirlooms. I love heirlooms, open pollinated. I've created a tomato that I've been working on for maybe 5 years, no longer, 8 years now. I took 2 native heirlooms to Illinois tomatoes. I called it the Randolph, hence Randolph County, Illinois. I thought that was fitting.
Are you in Randolph?
This is Randolph County.
Oh, okay.
So it was the Abe Lincoln.
The Randolph.
Yeah, the Abe Lincoln tomato. I think
your brother should be growing the Randolph.
He is.
Oh, okay.
He is growing the Randolph, and he loves it. He's been growing that.
Now, is that a sandwich tomato, or
it's an acidic tomato, but great old fashioned flavor, great for canning. The one I created.
So it's not a slicer so much.
It can be. Yeah, they have large slicers.
Okay.
They're mostly globe tomatoes. Some have a point on the end. I think that's from the hybridization. I took 2 tomatoes. I'm working on hopefully. So what I did, it was the Abe Lincoln, which was created in Rockford, Illinois in 1923 along the river. And, for Abe Lincoln and his, and then.
Tell them.
Yeah. And so, sorry. And so the Brooks tomato was another native Illinois tomato. And that was Brooks Ketchup in Caseyville, Illinois, the home of the largest tomato bottle. And so I took these 2. I think that was maybe, maybe 1929 that they created this tomato. And it's an acidic tomato, which is great for, ketchup and sauce. And so I took these.
I'm going to make ketchup this year. I was going to last year, but I didn't. I want to make fermented ketchup.
I've never tried it, but
I want to try
it's healthier.
Yeah.
It's super healthy for you.
But once you ferment it, you don't can it. You just leave it in the refrigerator.
That's the perks. That's the plus of being fermented.
I mean, if I have a bottle of ketchup in the refrigerator it goes bad. Like after, like it'll be in there for a year before I use it all.
Yeah, we don't need a lot of ketchup.
Yeah.
So,
So
I always buy the mustard too, because I do love mustard on my sandwich. And then my wife Sherry, she's like, "Hey, your mustard's bad again," because I know, and so it gets thrown out.
you go to the store and you think, oh, I would like to have some mustard.
That's what's nice about eating fresh out of the garden. And,
I know.
I wish I could grow year round. And
grow everything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be able? So how much space do you have here?
And I
see other houses.
Yeah, I have great neighbors, and I like to share when I have extra eggs or extra produce. I like to share with my neighbors, but it's just shy of 2 acres in town. I have a well that unfortunately you can't use the water to drink because back to the GMOs that contaminated our soil. That's why I love to stick with the organic philosophy. It's just it's good for the environment, good for your soul, good for your gut, good for everything.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with the big agriculture, if you noticed when you came in, I have that field just across my yard. So one year they'll grow the corn, one year they'll grow the soybeans, but every year they'll hit it with the Roundup Ready. And I have my blueberries down there, and if the wind's just right from the west, it'll blow in, and when they're spraying, and fortunately, I haven't lost anything, but it does do detriment to my stuff. Sure. I'll get spots all over my blueberries, and it'll pull through, and I get a great harvest. It's a great little acidic underneath. Those pine trees.
Would it help to cover them with like a?
If I could time it just right, but usually it happens when I'm at work, and you never know when they're going to do it, and so.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Yeah, I have to show you this tomato though sometime. About the open pollinated, that's the wind. So you got to be careful with the corn. You got to be careful with your tomatoes when you're planting these. If I grow a type, I'll grow it on the other end of my yard. If say when I'm breeding these 2 tomatoes, that's a great thing about open pollinated. You can take a Q-tip, and when they're blooming, go up to that bloom and go from the Abe Lincoln to the Brooks, and you hit it just right, and you maybe take a piece of yarn or a piece of ribbon or something and tie that branch where you pollinated that flower and watch it develop. You pick the biggest tomato, the best looking tomato that you want to keep, and then you'll harvest that. You'll cut the seeds out, squeeze them in a mason jar. That's another, we could go on it, and let them ferment for maybe a week. Take the jar off.
Sometimes it doesn't take that long.
Sometimes, you can go too long. They start turning black.
Forget it.
You forget it. They're not going to sprout. And so that's the benefits of open pollinated. That's what I'm about. So.
Yeah. How many plants would you say that you grow?
Tomatoes, generally, let me think. Quite a few, enough to get us by for the year. I do all our canning. So we have salsa, tomato sauce, pasta, all homemade that it'll last. We still have sauce down there from last year let me think.
Would you say you have 20 plants or 80 plants or?
It doesn't take as many as you think. No, not 80. No. I'd say 15 tops.
Okay.
But these are indeterminate. So they'll go all season.
Yeah.
So like this Randolph, I'll have tomatoes until November.
Speaking of OYR, I'm trying to think, let's see, what was his name? I want to say Patrick. I think his name is Patrick. I remember this from a video that he did 10 years ago. I don't know how I remembered this, but I do. And he had indeterminates growing in the backyard, and they were growing on a cattle panel. He had an 8-foot.
That's a great way to do it.
Was it 8 feet? I think he had an 8-foot cattle panel vertical. Because his backyard was like a chess game. It was just every little tiny walkway.
That's what I loved about the California garden.
Yeah, mine was like that too. But he had a typical backyard lot. So the whole rectangle was full. Anyway, he grew his tomatoes up this cattle panel going this way, and he always lopped them off at the top of it. And he was saying that it would branch out. It would do more.
Yeah, and you can tie them up as you go.
Will it put off more fruit? Does it put off more fruit? Or
I don't. That's a great way to grow. I actually grow kind of like Daryl grows his tomatoes exactly. And I've been doing that for years.
Okay.
I just let him go into a big
to Daryl there.
bush. Yeah, we do have a lot in common, Daryl and I actually. The same growing techniques, and I've noticed that.
Yeah.
I just. The bush style. I just have these. I use the galvanized wire fence. I think 5 or 6 foot tall, and I let them. I tie them up as they go through the bush out. Yeah, and that's. I prefer that method.
Yeah.
The only thing you might have to prune a little bit more as you're doing it, so that light can hit them tomatoes. You don't want too much light because you can get sun scald, but you want
Yeah.
enough that you're going to get produce.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think if I had any sun scald last year. Because I don't, I did the tomato terraces and I spent so much time and effort on those.
They look great.
And they covered with weeds. And last year I got nothing. Everything died on the terraces because I just had to say, I've only got the energy for the.
Was there a shade problem with that part?
I used to have shade cloth on there thinking that they needed that, but they don't.
That's probably a little detrimental to it.
Yeah, they didn't produce well.
Right.
So I got rid of that, but I still have the poles across the top because I thought, well, if I ever do want to do the tomatoes with the string, that's what, you got to prune the suckers.
Yeah, the suckers. You want to prune enough, but not too many if you grow. Well, for that style,
too many,
you're taking.
Kills it.
That's what I feel. So the more you're pruning, that's fruit that you're not going to have.
I know.
Yeah, you might have less disease, but I tell you, back to the heirlooms.
Do you prune yours when they go over at all?
So what I do is when I start, I prune underneath anything that's low to the ground. Maybe you don't want that dampness when it rains flopping up. So, and everything from a foot above, I let go. Unless it gets too crowded, I'll just do occasional pruning as it goes. But maybe a foot from the ground, I clear everything and leave that bare and just let it go. The more branches, the more blossoms, the more. So back to heirlooms, that's the thing. People with all these new, hybrids, they're not accustomed to the microclimates. They don't go back to all the generations as the heirlooms. I think they're more disease resistant myself. A lot of people say they're not, but
hybrids?
No, the heirlooms are more disease resistant. In my experience, because they have generations.
I know they do, but they seem so much more susceptible.
Well, it all depends on, there's so many varieties.
I know.
It all depends. I got lucky with the Abe Lincoln, with the Brooks.
Yeah. Well, I just thought of something you said a second ago. We're jumping off of tomatoes for a second because we're at 254. So you were saying that you had some comments to add, maybe not contradict, but to add to my pruning video yesterday. So if anybody is doing their pruning, you had some different thoughts you wanted to share? Well,
I've had apple trees here. I had a little orchard, a small orchard up on that hill, which maybe sometime we'll see. I'm down to one apple tree, and that's because of the cedar trees. If you notice, I have cedar trees here. So
you wouldn't even have to have them right here.
The cedar rust
still would come.
So in early spring, that when you get all that hot humidity and that moisture, all that rains, you get them slimy orange balls, that cedar rust. And if you have apple trees, it's terrible.
Kills
so
them.
I had 6 trees in a vine. I'm down to 1, and luckily it must be resilient to that because it's just
there are some varieties which are
brandy wine sap I believe
is what's left.
Is what's left.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's about 15 years old now. And so back to the pruning techniques. Well, I like to have it an open umbrella. And
so we're talking about the video that I uploaded yesterday about I had these guys come out and prune my fruit trees. And so he had some additional thoughts on
I thought they were apple trees. I guess I didn't realize they were peach too. So
they were peach and pear. The 2 big ones were peach and all the little ones were pear. I think they were all pear that we.
Well, I thought maybe he was cutting an apple tree. That's why I said that. I was like, you want to keep that old growth. The new growth is what you want to get rid of. All them straight up verticals, the verticals. You want to get rid of
that one with the 3 or 2 things going straight up. Somebody actually wrote a comment and said, take them all off. He took one off.
Yeah.
Probably should take the other.
Probably take them all off. That's what.
There's just 2.
Especially if it was an apple tree.
There's just 2.
Like about a month.
I don't know. How can you tell if you've lost the tag?
Exactly. See, that's the thing about a gardener, and I'm horrible at it. You need to keep a notebook.
I don't.
And that's back to my high bush blueberries. I know they're the high bush variety, but I couldn't tell you the name because I wasn't smart enough to keep it. You should. You should keep a notebook.
You know how in the movies the old movies how the man, the executive in the office would always have his secretary like right beside him taking notes. Write that down.
I see
why.
He's
got the cigar. He's got all the thoughts, and he's and she's like,
Yeah. Hey, you got a birthday coming up. I see.
I do.
Yeah.
Did somebody wish me a happy birthday?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's something we have in common. We're both Aquarius. I just had my birthday on the 8th. And I think yours is on the 14th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to tune in on Well, I don't know if I'll be able to tune in on where I'm going. I don't have Wi-Fi, but I'll try to see if I can do maybe a quick 5-minute or I don't know, 5-minute live stream or at least a 1-minute short or something on my birthday.
We'll have to do this again.
I don't
too
have
sometime.
any. I know.
Come
I
back
know. Well,
and give a tour of the
I'd like to
property.
do it when you've got a garden growing.
That'll be coming up soon. Hopefully.
Yeah.
My first starts with the onions. I do have some basil. Basil takes a long time to get going.
Oh, I
So
haven't
have
started
3.
seeds
I
yet.
have 3 just emerged. It took about 6 days on a heat mat. You always want to have a heat mat.
Let me
basil.
run over there and
Yeah,
grab
let me
that.
grab
I just
that.
want to. I haven't started basil, and I have all those different varieties I bought this year. I don't know.
Oh, it must be a weather update.
Oh, is it?
Alexa, I have Alexa.
Oh, get rid of that.
Alexa,
No, don't.
off.
Oh, look. Okay, so you
does weather
started.
Yeah, here's the basil.
Oh, they're just
They're
so
just
tiny.
now, and you see where they're bending towards the light there by the windowsill.
Yeah.
Every day I kind of turn them the other direction, so it makes them a little stronger. But
It looks like somebody had a cake.
I did. They make great humidity domes because it's
I know.
they're free.
Yeah, they got the dome
The
part.
bakery
Don't throw away
cakes?
your
No.
bakery cake.
I keep them all.
Oh, okay.
Great humidity dome, and basil's got to have heat.
Is this the Genovese?
This is the Italian Genovese, the sweet
Okay.
basil. Yep.
Well, believe it or not, I still have the basil bushes in my garage
Oh,
that I
wow.
dug up.
You overwintered them in the garage.
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't all make it, but I mean, I have enough.
You
Good
can take
grief.
cuttings off. They're easier to cut.
I'm
and get
telling
rooting
you,
than
they
they are to
root really
seed.
great in
They
water.
root
Well,
great.
I had some that rooted really great in water. They had all these roots. So I said, well, let me plant that, and I planted it in soil, and it died.
Oh no.
I don't know what I did.
I
wrong.
actually got a variety
Is
of.
it just too much moisture?
I don't know. Usually I have great luck with the cuttings on basil. That's usually
Oh, it rooted like great, but once I planted it in the soil, it died.
maybe it wasn't weaned off long enough. Did you
What do you mean wean it off?
gradually take it from the inside to the outside? Like,
Oh no, it's not. It never went outside.
oh, it never did go outside. Oh, wow. Yeah.
I rooted it in the window
Mhm.
in water, had all these roots, took it out, rinsed it good, just to get that little bit of slimy stuff.
Yeah.
Planted it in fresh soil in a pot in the house, put it back in the window, and it died.
Wow. Wow. That's
I know.
unfortunate.
I know.
Well, that's what's going. You can always try again.
I know. I know. I've got one, my Tulsi. I only had one Tulsi last year, and it's barely alive. The leaves are like that tall.
Oh no.
It's all sticks, and it's just got little tiny. So I mean, I think it's still alive. But you know what I've got?
How's your citrus doing? How's your?
Oh, almost dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this. Oh,
Oh,
now
let me get out of the way. Oh,
yeah. Why is my hand not going the right way?
it's always backwards
there we
on the
go.
screen. But,
That is a 17-year-old.
well, it's about 13 years old.
Oh, sorry, 13-year-old Calamondin lime, and he root prunes it every other year.
Yeah,
did you
every
say?
year or every year and a half. I root prune it. I keep it in the same. They do better. I noticed if they're root bound a little bit, you'll get more on citrus. You'll get more blossom.
That looks like a ceramic pot.
No, it does.
it?
But it's actually, I think it's Better Homes and Gardens.
It's
one
plastic?
them resin plastic pots. with
Oh,
the-
one of the
Yeah.
okay.
It does look ceramic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a bonsai style. If you cut those rings, it's just amazing. If you would cut it down and count the rings,
Yeah.
how old it is. That's actually our Christmas tree, our evergreen Christmas tree. We
I
decorate that
know.
every year.
I know, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
I always picture like a little, like a rubber tire hanging down from it, make a little.
Yeah, mine don't have a nice shape like that for a Christmas tree. And anyway, I used my dried sweet Annie. Remember?
I do. That made a great Christmas.
Oh,
You
gosh.
had it up for a while too.
Did anybody have any questions for Mark before we sign off today?
I was going to mention.
Yes,
real
thank you,
quick-
Ken.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just have to remind everybody.
I was going to mention about those onion seeds real quick. So growing it like this, you would think it would be a hassle, but these onions have
Thank
real
you, Christina.
fibrous roots
Wednesday.
and real hardy, and you can pull them apart with no detriment to the plant. And that's just the best way to. You can pull these apart in clumps instead of individual plugs. This is just the best way to do it. Just throw them in there and
Wait. I missed something. Are you talking about This.
Yeah, when you go to transplant them,
Oh.
don't be so worried about breaking them. All the green part, but the roots, they're fibrous and wiry. They just pull apart real easy. So the first time I grew them like this, I figured, oh man, that's going to be a hassle. But it's not. The soil just comes apart in these onions, because the onions, these baby onions, the roots are so fibrous, they just pull apart. But no,
I know, but you are saying to separate them.
Oh yeah, when you plant them, definitely separate them. Definitely separate them.
My question is, I have a question.
About 4 inches on center.
I don't see it as much on this one. Can I see the other one? I saw it on that one.
Yeah.
This is what I've been doing. Okay, I don't know if you can see. See right there where it's pulling out and the root is exposed?
Yeah.
And I have that happen in like that one.
Well, just make a little hole and you stick them right back down.
Okay, well that's what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see it, but
the lighting's horrible.
But there's one right there. It's almost like, it's weird because the seed, it's like, okay, this one's laying down so you can see. You can just you can actually see the root above the soil exposed right there. And I've been using just one of those cheap chopsticks that are like
perfect.
Hardwood,
that's
and
perfect.
I just like stick it
I actually
in there.
seen that episode where you did that.
I did.
I made a comment. I was like, "That's perfect."
Oh, I didn't remember.
Yeah, I
didn't remember doing that.
Yeah.
But you're going to take each one of those individually
So for green onions, 2 inches on center, and then so I'll take the center one out as I eat the green onions, and for the larger ones, I want to bulb, usually 4 to 6 inches on center, and let them go.
Oh, tell them what you mean by on center.
On center, so you'll plant one individual onion on center, measure over to the center of where you planted the next one. That would be on center. So you'd have one here would be 2. This would be this third one over here would be 4 inches on center. And so you pick everyone out, so it gives more room for it to bulb out and get
So
larger.
the ultimate is no more than 4 inches.
4 to 6.
4 to 6 apart.
Yeah.
Question here: what do you use? Teas, fertilizer teas? If so, what
I
kind?
do sometimes. It'd be like a compost tea. Usually I tell you what, just the compost that I make, and the house plants. I use a dry granular, something like Plant Tone or something like you carry. The dry granular on top, and as I water it, it'll water down into the.
Are you talking about the IV Organic?
IV Organics.
Yeah.
And it'll just water down into the root system. I start with an organic soil in the first place. Like I usually don't start in the starting mix. I start in a good rich. I think it's something gold. The brand I use, and I add to it with perlite. It just has the right amount of nutrients, not too much. I think maybe 5. A low 0.5 or something, but I just
Are you talking about fertilizer? Or are you talking about soil?
How I'm in the soil. They asked if I used any type of fertilizer.
Oh, just the tea. Do you make compost tea?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a 5-gallon bucket or a trash can. Put old yard clippings in there. Add water to it. It'll stink to high heaven, but just dip a little bit goes a long way. I don't use too much of that. I know my brother uses it, and he has really great luck.
Well, a great thing to use is the leaves of comfrey.
Yes, yeah. I don't grow comfrey.
And it does stink to high. You need to.
I need to, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I ordered some roots from Permapastures Farm.
The comfrey roots?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They sell them.
So you plant the crown, I guess.
No, it's not a crown.
It's
It's like a piece like that.
Oh,
They
wow.
literally cut. They have a video showing how they prepare it. They're like pieces like that.
Oh, wow.
And you plant them.
That has the velvety ears, the leaves.
Yeah, the leaves are velvety.
Yeah.
And you plant it horizontally.
Yeah.
I remember that much.
That would make it.
I ordered some, and they said you can keep it. If you can't plant it right away, you can put it in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks.
So may I ask?
And so I did
guest is?
That was like 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
They've been in my refrigerator for 6
I
months.
guess we're missing questions. I'm not for sure here.
And borage. Also, I've done
Borage
it with borage tea. I've made that too. That's really good. Christy Morrison just joined. Thank you for joining. We're not going to be on that much longer. You'll have to go back and watch it, please. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up. We only have 63 people Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
What happened? Oh, it's a Super Bowl.
That's it.
What time did the Super Bowl start?
What, 5, 6 p.m.?
Well, there's no reason they shouldn't
5, I
be
think
on.
5.
This is 2.
Yeah. Well, you're getting
it's
ready.
not fair.
Getting the food set out.
let's
Always
see.
grow garlic. That's another one. Garlic. If you like garlic, even if you don't like garlic, garlic is fun to grow.
Gretchen says it's very blurry. I'm sorry, Gretchen. I'm on the road and Wi-Fi works great for them, but I don't have a good enough signal, I guess.
I think it'll probably clear up later when you get it on your past the live when it's uploaded. It should be clear. Usually it'll clear up. But
have you ever noticed that?
I have. Yeah, it's just during the live feed, and then once it's later, I think it'll be fine.
Oh gosh, I hope so.
I hope so.
Oh, who did that? Ken, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you. You have no idea how far I can go on $10, Ken. Thank you so much. And thank you to Catherine earlier. Let's see. I think Hardneck Farms came in late, and I believe they were asking who you are, and then Teresa, the urban homesteader, explained that who you are. So this is Mark Valeroy, and he has been following my channel for
about 12 years.
Almost 12. Well,
Yeah.
It'll be 12 in April.
Getting close.
So
Yeah.
he's been following it since the 3rd episode in 2012, and we'd never met in person. Today was the first time we met in person, but we've talked many times on the phone. He sent me seeds. I grew his corn last year. I don't know if you remember, but I grew the painted wapsi last year, which is
I think the raccoons got the first batch, destroyed it or something. Didn't raccoons get in? Yeah, and you had to replant.
So the first batch.
Yeah.
Oh, just terrible.
The raccoons do love it. I did an experiment one time with this corn, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the wildlife love it. I took the ground corn from the store, the GMO stuff, the chicken feed that you buy. I took some of the painted wapsi. I ground it up. I have
A mill?
A mill. Thank you. A grain mill. I use the old Victorian style. It's with the crank. You can actually put a drill on it. But so I had 2 piles in the chicken pen, and this experiment's been done with squirrels too. I've never done it, but I had 1 pile of the store bought. I had 1 pile of mine. They just destroyed it within minutes and didn't even touch the other. I mean, they eat it if they have to, but that's
wait. You pointed over there to yours, and
Yes.
you pointed over. They didn't touch yours?
not until after they ate all of this, and maybe they didn't touch it.
No,
for a
I'm
day
confused.
later.
Which one did they eat? Yours
They ate
or the other
mine.
one? Okay, they
Yes.
did eat yours.
So animals know. They know
Oh
something.
yeah, I heard you wrong.
I just thought that was amazing.
and I was thinking
Yeah.
you were saying the opposite, and I'm going, that can't be right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What else? Let's see. 5 Green Acres is here, and I owe you seeds, but I didn't get. Yeah, you were saying you couldn't get email.
Gail says she loves gardening. Me too.
New here. Gail is new here. Thank you so much, Gail. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I have a lot. I have, how many videos do I have? 1,200?
Oh, over 1,000 for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there's a lot of all kinds of gardening on my channel, because I used to be a small space gardener, a small garden, front yard garden in California, and was seasonal around the year round and capturing every drop of rainwater that I could capture. And now it's like, what do I do with all this water?
No, I don't raise bees, Catherine, but I do have a local source of great organic
Debbie's gone.
honey
Bye-bye, Debbie.
that I
Thank you.
use. It's great. I do get lots of pollinators. I have lots. The urban gardener. Animals know good food. They do know good food.
That's funny. I don't think it's a Briggs and Stratton engine. No, I think it's not that good. Somebody asked me if my Prius was a Briggs and Stratton engine.
Oh,
I don't know.
wouldn't that
You
be
know, it
something?
works really well.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah.
That car got me across the country.
Across the country.
You know, I don't drive it.
All over the East Coast too, I believe. There was an episode when you were.
No, those were rental cars.
Oh, that was rental.
Yeah, no, I didn't drive my own car. No, my car was in California.
That's right.
Oh, this is the first time my car's been in the East.
Wow.
Is this time.
Moving
Well,
to Tennessee.
I bought
Well,
it
back
in
to
2019 and I left in 2020.
Oh wow.
So yeah. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Gail.
Sorry, I was a little nervous. I'm never nervous until, I get tongue tied, and hopefully it's getting
No,
better.
you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
doing a great job.
Awesome.
I'm just seeing if anybody else have, okay. Let's see. 2013, 70,000 miles. Oh yeah. Linda got rear-ended last. Yeah, he hit
Oh,
it. What did
no.
you hit?
It was either an owl or a chicken hawk early in the morning. It was, dawn, and it just came right out from coming from Carbondale, coming home from work, and early in the morning, just took my mirror completely almost off of my nice truck.
But I'm so glad it didn't. It's an easy replacement.
Right. It's been turned. I'm waiting on the body man.
Yeah, but they don't have to fix your actual body.
I thought it was going to break the whole side window. It hit so hard, but what do you do? My daughter, there's so many deer. My daughter hit a deer this morning in her vehicle.
Christina, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. Oh, Christy's ordering seeds this week. I have, if you would like to try some of this, I have a little bit of the painted Wapsie. Is it okay if I do that?
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, Mark is actually going to sell this.
I am
He
eventually.
just bought a printer to print the envelopes.
Right. I need to design a little packet and explain how it's a fast growing, 80 days to harvest, and that's dry corn. Because the thing with it, it's a real thin, long ear, but full of kernels. You get a great harvest and great protein, great flavor. And it's a white, fluffy, starchy, great for baking, a true flour corn.
Well, but your dog comes in at night, right? Or does the dog stay outside?
No, during the day, in and out.
Yeah, but
no.
I mean,
well, that's why I got
raccoons.
So I always had cats and dogs. I didn't give you the tour yet. So eventually,
okay.
Yeah, you'll have to have the tour. I had a kennel at one time, but there were elderly dogs. They've passed on. And then my cat passed away. Just a cat, an outside cat will keep varmints out. So I recently got a new cat. So hopefully it'll do the trick. But
the gray cat
the gray
is so
cat,
cute.
Yeah, he is.
Is he in the house right now?
No.
He's he is so cute. Do you have where's that picture?
Let me see.
That cat, he has a new cat, 5 months old.
He'll be 6 months, March 7th.
Super friendly, and
he's a big guy.
He just
Let me see if I can
for that age, he is going to be big, and he's got long gray hair.
Here's
it's like this hair. Did you notice Mark's wearing my T-shirt? This is his favorite one. It says on back. It says, "I'm a dirt person."
Yeah. I do get lots of questions about.
Do you come this way? I'm a dirt person, and then there's a plant, and then just my name below that. Yeah. I'm wearing the old style. By the way, nobody's bought any T-shirts or long sleeve T-shirts in a long time. And isn't that cute?
There's Asher.
Wait, yeah. Oh, look at that cat.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so cute.
He's gonna be a big boy. The vet thinks he's a Maine Coon breed.
Really?
Or at least partly, because he's large for 5 months old. Yeah.
Oh,
super nice.
You're right. He is.
Yeah, he's only 5 months old. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and he's super friendly.
Here's a better picture. He's smiling in that one. Oh.
Yeah, he's smiling. It looks like he's growling. Wait.
He's super great.
He's so cute, and you've got a collar on him.
And a bell. I can hear him coming.
Yeah, but doesn't that alert the predators for a tasty treat?
They're so sneaky and fast. I don't think so. I don't know. Okay. I like to know where he's at.
I know.
Yeah.
I had him at first, but I took him off, and they always rip the bell off. It's just Jules is here. She said the ears are small for a Maine Coon, but partly it might be.
Yeah, partly. And that's what the vet seems to think.
If he likes water, then he's a Maine Coon.
He does like water.
Did he jump into water?
No, he'll play in water.
What?
He'll go through it. Yeah.
He'll get his whole body.
Well, I've never seen him jump in water, but he likes to play in the water. Yeah. So.
Wow. Janine says, thank you, Janine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bell saves the birds. Well, let's keep the birds. I do feed the birds. I like birds, but I don't like the raccoons and I don't like the skunks and the groundhogs, but I do like birds. So that's good.
Yeah, she says, yep, totally Mancoon. I don't know.
That's what the vet seems to think.
I've never had one. But anyway, well, I'm going to sign off because I've got over 100 miles to drive.
You do, and you
today,
can't forget to take back the goodies with you.
And I want to get there before dark. So we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for the Super Chat donations. I really, really appreciate it. God bless everyone. And you look for a little something on Wednesday, but basically I'm taking the week off. I'm going to get home like Thursday or Friday, I guess. And yeah, I'm just going to try to chill out. It's been so intense.
Yeah, you've been busy lately.
Yeah, busy and a lot going on, and still haven't got my raised beds done, because it rained yesterday. So
we had a lot of rain.
Yeah, he didn't come yesterday, so got 2 more to get done. Just, I don't know, so much to do, right?
Right.
So
I'm glad they take time to listen to my little story.
I know, absolutely. And did I leave anything out? I don't think I did.
I don't think so.
And you were saying advice for people just starting out was?
Just to do it. Don't be afraid. Find a style that's right for you. Read publications, watch great channels like Kaye's, and, just do it.
Yeah. Don't wait for that perfect. I don't know. A lot of people just wait to see something suggested, but you can go to my channel and look through the playlist. And there's a lot of great kinds of stuff there that it may be older, but all the information is still relevant.
You're going to have failures and you're going to have success, and you just build upon that and learn. It's all about learning. I've been gardening 20 years and I'm learning something every season from either myself or other. I'll be learning till the day I pass. So. Right.
Exactly. And take notes,
which I'm bad about doing. I need to do better.
I do too. And I always recommend, to grow what you want to eat.
That's right. Yeah. And try something new too.
And then work in Daryl always says, try a new thing.
Right. Me too.
But don't, just don't spend your energy, your time, and your money growing stuff that's true. That you don't particularly like to eat, like rutabaga or turnips or,
Although I'm going to try chickpeas this year. That's something new that I've never grown. I do love hummus, and I'm going to try to grow chickpeas. I ordered 2 from True Leaf. I ordered 2 organic varieties, a black variety of chickpea and a black one. Wow. So that'll be interesting. And so we'll see what happens.
Do you have
can't
any
wait.
Extra seeds?
I do have some actually.
Wait, but for that I need to order some.
I can share. I like to share.
Well, I was going to say chickpeas. I used to buy, because when you buy hummus in the store, it's all cooked. Right. And I went through this period from 2000 to 2005 where I just ate raw food.
I'm going to try it.
And you can make hummus out of raw chickpea.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you
did that. There's actually a Hispanic Mexican dish where you use the not dry, they're not raw, but the fresh chickpeas. They steam them with some lime, and then I think maybe some not paprika, but chili powder and lime. I'm going to try it.
You're making me hungry.
It sounds delicious. I want to try it. Maybe a little cilantro. I know it's a staple in some parts of Mexico. I can't wait to try it. So.
I got some steaks in the car, so that's what I'm having tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Kaye. Got to do it again.
I know. Let's see. There we go.
Awesome.
Well, I hope you're